You're watching SBoy TV.
Who we got on the bad job right now? Go ahead and introduce yourself to the people.
What up, y'all? It's your boy Only1Jackson, a.k.a. Mr. Only One, a.k.a. Mr. Heartbreak City. And we represent for Big Dog Drip Entertainment. Shout out Soy Boy Entertainment. Let's get it.
Oh, man, you did that quick. You know what I'm saying? It's like one take. You feel me?
Yeah, one take.
You practice that. What's all them extra names, man? You got to break that down. You said.
And Mr. Only One, that's a song off of my project, Tears of Art, an EP that I dropped not too long ago. And then Mr. Heartbreak City, you know, that's what they call me because I dropped the album named Heartbreak City.
Okay.
So some of my peers, they call me Mr. Heartbreak City, you know what I'm saying?
That's dope. That's dope. You be breaking hearts out here?
Oh, you know what I'm saying? I'll be, you know, not too much on the camera, but.
It get like that, though.
Yeah.
It get like that. All right, so let's start at the beginning for you, though, man. What was life like growing up for you? Where you grow up at, man?
Man, life was, I grew up in Oak Park, Michigan. I grew up small neighborhood on Sussex. Life was interesting, you know what I'm saying? I feel like I learned a lot at a young age. Just being around my peers, being around my family. I feel like I learned a lot. One of the things I learned is, you know, just being able to have survival, you know what I'm saying? Being able to survive out here. And my uncle was one of the biggest inspirations for me with that. You know, he lived with us like my whole life. His name was Cash. And so, you know, I just felt like that's one of the main people in my life that taught me all of those things. And, I mean, I was outside all the time. Like, I was outside just, you know, with my boys playing basketball. And even, like, little stuff like that, you know, just going to the basketball court, going against the bigger kids, always being the smallest one. And, you know, them teaching me, like, you know what I'm saying, you gotta be big dog out here. You know what I'm saying?
Was you bad?
No. You know what? Let me stop.
Be honest.
Let me be honest. When I first started out, I was bad. I was terrible. Like, I was ass. I ain't even gonna lie to you. But it made me stronger because when I got older, I got better. Mm-hmm. I got better as I got older. But I used to be so frustrated, like, dog, like, they whooping my ass out here. That's like,
it be like that. Just like music, man. It just take time. You just gotta keep going at it, though. You feel me?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Where you go to school at?
I went to Oak Park. I went to Einstein Elementary. At that time.
High school, you went to Oak Park?
And then high school, I went to Wall Lake Western. My mom moved me from over there. I kept getting into fights, dog, and it was just a whole bunch of stuff out there. So she wanted to move me out. Like, you need to be with more of the Caucasian people. You know what I'm saying? And, like, had some versatility, you know?
Yeah, you needed that diverse group, you feel like?
Yeah, like that diverse.
Was that a shock for you, though, going over there, though? Because it is different.
It was way different. Like, when I went out there, it was a whole different world because it was like it wasn't the same people I grew up with. So I was a little more urban than the kids out there. So I had to like adjust, and I couldn't adjust. And like so, I would, you know, try to get in trouble every day. Like, oh, I want to go back to where I was at before, but she wasn't buying it. She like, nah. Like I was getting suspended and stuff like that. But over time, it was like. I started to get used to it, and I started to find people that was like me, you know, throughout the school system. So, I mean, it was hard when I first got out there, though. I'm not gonna lie, like, because I wasn't used to being around that much diversity. Like, I was just used to being around just black kids, you know. So, you know, just straightforward.
Yeah, I definitely got that similar experience. When I went to college, it cooked me. Like I was like. Big culture shock, like, whoa.
Yeah,
so,
yeah, that's how I felt.
Yeah, I definitely felt out of place, man. But when did the music come in for you? Was you doing music during these times?
So I was in the 5th grade. I was actually 10 years old. I remember I had a school project, and I had to write a song. And the song I wrote, it was called Dr. King. It was a song about Dr. Martin Luther King. And my mom actually helped me write it. And then from that day forward, it was like I really like fell in love with doing that. You know what I'm saying? So, and she was always like a big inspiration to me because she would always be like, "Hey, like you got an ear for music. Like you got an ear for music, and I can see you doing that when you get older." She been saying that since I was a kid. So it feel like it kind of just came natural when when I won that contest in class. Help writing that song. We went to the studio. We actually came here, um, where we at right now. So like in the Greenfield Plaza, and recorded the song and everything. We was supposed to shoot a music video and stuff. It didn't fall through, but we was supposed like it was like a big project. Like,
do you feel like looking back, your mom believing in you that young really helped you?
oh yeah, I really, it was such a big inspiration to me because it was like my mom, like she always used to say it. Like when I was getting older and older, she always would be like, "You gonna do music? You love music. Like that's what you gonna do." Cause I'm sitting here like, "Oh, I'm gonna be a basketball player." Like I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do that. But she knew what it was from the beginning. Like because I was always just like beats and and just listening to music all the time and trying to replicate and do choreography, watching Michael Jackson doing choreography in my living room and trying to replicate everything he did and stuff like that. Like it started at that age and like I said, she was definitely a big inspiration behind that.
That's
for
dope,
sure.
man. That's real fire, man. A lot of artists come on, man. A lot of moms do not believe in rap dreams no more.
Yeah,
so,
yeah, they don't.
So that's dope that, you know what I'm saying, mom's in your corner. Not only that, she's your momager as well, too,
Right.
man. Talk about that experience, like having your mom as a manager.
I love it. Like we listen, man. We bump heads. Like most managers and artists. Sometimes it be me. Sometimes, and I don't be listening because like sometimes I'll write a song and then she'll be like, and I'll send it to her. I'll record it, send it to her. She'll be like, I don't like that. I'm like, what the fuck you mean you don't like that? Like I'll be mad. Like damn. Like and I'll be feeling like I'm pouring my heart out into it, but I realize why she do that now because it unlock a different type of animal inside of me. You know what I'm saying? And like that's how it was in sports with me. Like you know, when a player talking trash, it unlock a new character,
Yeah.
and that's what she does with me. And I realize that like she'll do that if she really feel like it's not that good. She'll let me know. But if she know off the bat, like, oh yeah, this is the one, she'll let me know. Like she ain't one of them mamas that just agree on everything that I write or that I record.
Yeah.
So when like when she let me know, like I don't like that, I'll be like. I'll be getting in my feelings at first. I'm not gonna lie, like I'm gonna keep it real. But then I sit back and I'll go in and I'll re-record it, and she'll be like, "That's what I'm talking about. That's what I wanted to bring out of you."
That's dope, man. So even into that, bro, I really think that can mold an artist. So when I think about events like the one we met you at, like Past the Court, that's a tough event to be at as an artist. To
Oh yeah,
showcase your music, have people criticize it, but
right.
you already being molded in that way. If
Right.
mom's already telling you I don't like it or I like it, you know what I'm saying? So when your peers, you ready for them, like what you
Yeah.
got to say? What you got to
Yep.
say? You get what I'm saying? So
Exactly.
even talk about that experience. What gave you that confidence to even be at events like Past the Court and play your music and hear criticism and
What helped with that is I started off at the panel. Shout out Floss a lot. They started the panel. Him and Roy Boy, young Roy Boy. That's where I originated from, and I heard the criticism and stuff in there. Um, and when I first went to their platform, it helped me realize like, okay, like this is how they gonna critique your music. And when I would see artists go in front of me and they'll be like, "No, that ain't it," or they'll tell them. I'll be like, "God damn, I'm scared." Like, I'm scared, but at the same time, I'm like, I already had my mom in my corner telling me what to present, what not to present, and what she think is good. And so when I got in front of them and I was like, performing my music and stuff, they definitely made me, you know, realize like, okay, maybe I am good at this. So when I transitioned over to pass the court, because like I said, I did the panel first. When I transitioned over there, it was like they made me feel like family. Like past the court, shout out Makai and everybody that was in there. Like I would go every single week. Like I would be excited for Monday because they made me feel like family. Like, after that first time of them just hearing my music and just hyping me up and calling me a superstar and stuff like that. And it's like, it was a great experience, especially going my first time and winning. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, okay, I just outlasted all these amazing artists in here, because the artists are amazing. And it just truly made me feel like, very special. Like, so I'm going to always have love for Pass the Court. And, they started my merch. Like, without them, I wouldn't have my merch. And without them, I wouldn't be in a lot of positions I was in. So
That's 100, man. Shout out past the court.
yeah, shout out Past the Court, man. I love that platform, dog.
That's 100, man. So for you, right, to me, you have been putting out a lot of records over the years since you started, right?
Mm-hmm.
What do you think it takes to be an artist in 2025 at this point?
At this point, you have to be real. Be real. Be yourself. Be who you are and not try to replicate what other people are doing. And you have to be honest because what I've realized is the songs that people attract to more with me is the songs that relate to their life or they can relate to. You know what I'm saying? And when people can feel that, they gonna always love you. They gonna always love you and they gonna always want to support you because it's people that's been through situations that you're talking about. You're not the only one that's alone. So and you gotta be consistent. Like you gotta be consistent and you have to continue to push and come up with different things. Be versatile. Don't just stay in one pocket. Try to challenge yourself because a lot of artists are scared to put out music because they don't want to be judged. They don't want to be judged in this type of way. But don't be scared to put it out because you never know how the audience may react to you. So like I think that's what it takes, to be an artist in 2025 and just like promoting your music and getting your name out there because I mean, you're gonna have a lot of people that's gonna tell you they don't like, your music. But it's about what you love, and what you want to do. Because eventually people that love you gonna love your music.
Yeah.
So
Even for you, like being a versatile artist, like to me, I don't feel like you create the same song, same sounds. Like I feel like you have different sounds and different bags you can get into. Before I go into that, I do want you to touch on how you developed that. Like what kind of got you in that space to be able to do this on this track or do that on this track?
definitely inspirations from other artists like Kendrick Drake, J. Cole, Brent Fayez, The Weeknd. Like I can just go through. All of those artists taught me something in their own ways, and I wanted to replicate it in my own way, though, in my own swag. So, what helped me hop in that bag is definitely the beats. Like, I've always been like, whatever I hear, that's what I go off of, and I try to be different with it. And if it's a great beat and I like it, I'm gonna put my own wave to it, like my only one swag to it. So, like, that's one of the main things that I try to focus on when I do try to create different sounds because I'm like I don't want all my stuff sounding the same because I do have two different bags that I can try to hop into or I have not two different bags, but like
Bro, I got
a couple
you.
other bags.
Couple bags we can get into. So my thing is, how do you protect yourself from getting to the space where you don't just end up repeating the same sound and staying in the same bag because you see success in it? So like I had a lot of artists that come on the platform and share like, I do this sound because this is what they want to hear. But they really want to do other things. They really want to show off their whole bag that they got. How do you stay motivated to not fall into that space? Because you might put a record out and they biting on this, like they like this.
Right.
And they like the other song that was similar to that. But they ain't really rocking with these two that you tried this on. Like, does that make you be like, I ain't gonna try this again no more? Or you just still stay hungry and still keep going?
No, I still stay hungry and keep going because eventually the crowd that will grasp to that will grasp to it. You know what I'm saying? So I try to still do, you know, what I think is pleasing or what's beautiful to me as well. Because I'm not scared because you gonna get 1,000 no's before a yes all the time. You know, you gonna always get a no. Like even when you get to a status, it's gonna be a lot of people that's gonna love your records. It's gonna be a lot of people that's gonna hate it. But it's about, you know, what you think sound beautiful and what you want to do. So like you said, I would definitely just try and, you know, switch it up whenever I feel like it, because I know sometimes the audience does, you know, they listen and they think like, oh, like I like these two sounds. Why you go to that sound? But it's like I'm trying to switch it up, and I feel like that's a problem with a lot of, you know, different people. Like Drake, for example, like he not scared to hop into any type of bag, and I'm just using a celebrity for example, but he's not scared to hop in any type of bag. You know, people make fun of him like, oh, he got the accents and he got all of this, but he not scared to do that because there's some people that is gonna like it, but you know, it's really all about your preference at the end of the day.
Oh, for sure. And then even from your perspective, like if you had to describe it in layman's terms, how would you describe the type of music you make?
The type of music I make, I would say is definitely wavy music, wavy and vibey music. Um, because it's so many different things I can touch on. I could touch on vibe, wave, consciousness at some points. So I would say it's in that mixture. You know what I'm saying? I would say thought provoking. You know what I'm saying? Like definitely introspective records is one of my things, and also having a concept behind each record that I make.
Thank you.
A concept.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. Sorry to cut you off, but thank you. It's too much music out here with no concepts, man.
Yeah.
To the point, it's hard for people to even title it at this
Right.
point. So thank you for keeping that in your bag, for sure.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it, man.
Speaking of concepts, man, I do want you to touch on your latest project, Tears of Art. Really dope name that you came up with as well. But talk to me about creating that project.
Man, so when I created that project, I believe it was a couple months ago. I was in a space where I was like, I want to create an album or an EP and just write all these songs in like one day or 1 or 2 days. So I wrote all of those songs in like 1 or 2 days. And Art and Imperfections is definitely my most personable record ever. Like I'm gonna be honest, that's one of my favorite songs that I ever wrote, ever. Like I was sitting up in my room and I was just writing and just writing and just writing and I came up with those 6 songs, and then I was like, okay, boom, I want to drop this next week. That's how that it was like a 7-minute drill basically, you know, with writing the records and coming out with an EP, and that's what I wanted to do. You know, I wanted to make a EP in a short span of time and give myself a time limit before I dropped it. And so that's
That's dope. That's like a challenge right
Yeah,
there. You know
yeah.
what I'm saying? Like, what made you put all that pressure on yourself like that? That's dope.
I just was like, this is something that I wanted to do. I wanted to challenge my pen. Like, I wanted to challenge it. Like, what level can you take this to? Like, where can you take this? And that was the level I was on, and I felt real good about making it. Made sure it all sounded great, and I was just up all night, just editing, making sure it sound good, making sure it sound right. Just for the past 2 days, just wrote all of it. I sent it to her. Like I told y'all, my mom is my momager is very critical on me.
Mhm.
She didn't say a word. She was like, this shit is fire. Like she was like, this shit is fire. Like, what was the concept behind this? And I was like, I just got myself in a mold. Like I locked in so much, like locked myself in a room for real, like locked in. And it got a lot of great feedback. And I was just glad that it got the feedback that it had, because this was a side of an Only1Jackson that my people have never heard and that my supporters have never heard. This was a whole different type of energy. This was a more confident and a more like, aggressive Only1Jackson, but in a positive way,
Yeah.
So
Listen, that bag that you got in, right? We need you to stay in that bag.
yeah.
Because you went on a hiatus.
Yeah.
So whenever you got that space where that hiatus feeling coming up for you, like, let me get back in that lock in, that 7-minute drill. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Speaking about the hiatus though, man, go ahead and touch on that. What was going on? What was you doing?
Man, I took a break and you know what? I wouldn't say it was a like a real break, because I was still dropping music, but I was dropping music that I had already released. But as far as shows, as far as being in interviews, as far as being out here, I took a hiatus. Honestly, my uncle passing away, it really it affected me like really bad. Especially because my uncle was somebody I grew up with my whole life. He wasn't the greatest example. You know what I'm saying? But he was somebody that I connected with, and he lived with me, my grandma, and my mother, like majority of our life. So when he died, a piece of me died with him, because he was such a big fan of my music. He was one of my biggest fans. Like he was one of my biggest fans. Like one of my unreleased songs, it was his ringtone. He would represent my merch. He would just go around telling people like, "Hey, my nephew, like he creates music. Like he was one of my biggest fans." And like when he died, it like I said, a piece of me died with him. And I know that you are supposed to, feed off of that and be like, "Oh, I'm gonna go harder." But it was like I was so affected by it, like it broke me. It broke me, and like even seeing him, he died with my merch on. He passed away with my merch on. So like that, it used to tear me up, dog. Like at night, it used to tear me up, and I was distracted. I was going through a lot of other things. I was distracted, going out partying, and not really focused. And then one day I just had to snap out of it. My mom, she was trying to get me back on track. She was trying to get me back on track. Like, son, like you got a gift, and you wasting it. Time is going by. You started this, started really being out here when you was 18. You 21 now. And I just really had to sit back and I had to think. And I remember one day I just had a breakdown. I was crying like real bad in my room. You know what I'm saying? I was crying real bad because I was going through so much. And then that's when I went back to music. That's when I started writing again. And I'm like, I need to put my pain through the music. And I do need to step on the gas, even with my Uncle Cash not being here. Like, I need to step on the gas, and I need to do what I've been loving and do what I've been doing my whole life. And then, women and all of that became a distraction as well along those ways. But, then that's how art and imperfections, that's how tears of art, that's how those things came about again. And I started to feel good again. And I felt like myself. I felt a sense of relief leave my body. I prayed. I talked to God. It was a lot that I did in that process that it just made me stronger, man. And I'm just happy to be back in that mindset in that field again.
Yeah, man, I'm happy to hear that too. That was heavy right there, bro.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Definitely sorry for your loss on that, bro, for sure. And I'm glad you even touched on the fact that a lot of people say like it's supposed to breed you, like this will make you
Yeah.
strong, this is what you go through, but it is a level of actually having to deal with it. Like
Yeah.
it has to process.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's good to see you back, bro. But even in the midst of that, though, life still go on. It's just gonna be ups and downs. What are some things you're doing to prioritize your mental health?
Um, Usually what I do is, man, I go play ball. That's one of my therapies. I go play ball with my boys and writing. Writing is like my therapy. Like whenever I feel like I'm going through something or whenever I feel, you know, strange, I start writing. I
Mm.
just start writing because it calms my nerves, and it's important to me. Or I start recording.
Mm.
I have some days where I just write songs, and then I have some days where I just go in, I lock myself down, put my phone on do not disturb, I just record.
Mhm.
And play with my voice, play with different sounds. So usually that's what I do to like calm my mental.
Dope. So at this point for you, man, you've been going, bro. Definitely been going still in that, bro. So what would you say your why is? Like, why do you do what you do?
I do this because I really want. Of course, you get the cliche answers of like I want to help my family and stuff like that, which is true. But I want to do this, for me because I dropped out of college for this. Like I was in college, I dropped out because I believed in myself and I wanted to challenge myself. And I'm the first male in my family in general to graduate and do these things. All my other family members, they've been locked up, they dead, like all of that. So I have something to prove because everybody looking at me and my family as like, you the golden child, like you the one who, the crown is heavy. Heavy is the head that wears the crown. So I have to be able to, take that and push forward with it. So I do it for myself, but I also do it for my people as well. And, like I said, I ain't trying to sound cliche, but I do it for them too because it's been a struggle. And like me and my mom been a single mother. I had a stepdad who raised me, who helped raise me. Um, my real father wasn't in my life. So, like, I really want to do it for her too because she deserved it. Like, I owe it to her. You know what I'm saying? Like, she sacrificed a lot for me. Like, it was some days she would just come in. She make sure I'm good. I'm fresh for school, but barely had the right shoes on her feet. Barely had clothes on her back. To make sure I was good. So like I owe this to my mama too. I owe this for myself, but to my mom. And so like I'm gonna do whatever I gotta do to, push forward and, you know, get us up out of here.
And you definitely dropping it, bro. You know what I'm saying? I definitely feel that too. You know what I'm saying? My mom's feel me, same story, same situation for real. So um I want to go into the Prince of Michigan record though. I know it's a little segue though, but kind of talk to me about that record because that was like different from you to me. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? We definitely see a lot of people repping the suburbs or repping Detroit heavy, but
Mhm.
repping Michigan that's major. So like, what
Yeah.
kind of went into that record?
I wanted to do something for like the city. I wanted to do something for Michigan. Like, we always had like Detroit, and of course, that's the main city here in Michigan. But I wanted to do something. I wanted to do a record that included everybody, in Detroit, Saginaw, Ypsilanti, Romulus, wherever, Oak Park, where I'm from. Like, because I know that difficulty, growing up. I know a lot of kids that's from the suburb and they scared to claim it because they don't want to be judged in a way. They don't want to be judged. And I feel like we like the only city that do that for real. And the only state that does that, because it's a lot of, like LA, you got a whole bunch of places where they say where they from and don't feel, ashamed about it. But I feel like I wanted to do that record for Michigan, so everybody feels included. Everybody feel included, and also just me saying I'm the Fresh Prince of Michigan. Like, like I feel like I'm the Fresh Prince of Michigan, and whatever city, whatever. Like, I'm one of them ones. Like I'm standing on that, and I'm standing firm. And I mean, anybody who want to challenge it, they challenge it. It is what it is.
I was just about to say that somebody might want to challenge
Yeah,
that.
at the end of the day, we could do that at the end of the day. But the record is definitely to uplift Michigan, and it's actually on a West Coast beat. It's on a West Coast beat because Fresh Prince, you know what I'm saying, is based in the West Coast. So I wanted to, add a little flip to it. Like, oh, he on the West Coast beat talking about his state though, talking about Michigan, talking about Detroit, talking about Oak Park, all of that. So
Yeah. I thought that was dope too. And I like how you got the parts in there where like somebody can dance and vibe to it. So definitely get that vibe tone to it though.
Yeah. So.
And I pay attention to detail. I don't know if this is on purpose, but I'm gonna add this. The track was 3 minutes and 13 seconds long. Was that on purpose?
Bro, that wasn't on purpose. I swear it wasn't on purpose. But somebody else pointed that out to me. And it was like, dog, 313, like, it was like right on time. And like, ironically, like, I guess it was meant for that. It was definitely meant for that.
Yeah, no,
but
sure.
I was sitting in my room. That was another one. I was sitting in my room, creating Tears of Art. And that song came to my mind, and I was like, man, I want to make something for Michigan, because of course I was gonna make something for Oak Park, or I was gonna make something dedicated to Detroit. But I'm like, no, how about the whole Michigan? You know what I'm saying? Because we got so many dope artists and so many different cities. Like, there's so many other artists out there, So.
I think a record like that too, kind of probably got created for you too, was you being able to leave Oak Park too.
Yeah.
I think sometimes when we get to open up our horizon and see more, our brain just opens up even further. So you could be able to see other cities like that. You could be able to say like, no, there's other artists over here. There's artists over here. You know what I'm saying? So I'm glad you was able to put on like that for sure.
And even with that, I want to shout out like Pass the Court again. Like, it was so many different artists. Like that also helped me open my eyes. The panel and the Pass the Court, because it's like, dog, it's so many, and they repping where they from, and it's like, dang, bro, like we really a talented city. Like, we really a talented state. I just feel like the Midwest don't get as much love as we supposed to, as it is.
And it'd be like that, but I think that underdog feeling is good though.
Yeah,
like, and you see our sports teams all breeding off of it as well too.
Right.
Everybody is en route of just trying to put on. Like, let me show y'all. You know what I'm saying? So it just build grit and toughness though. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So in that though, man, do you feel included in the Detroit music scene right now, or you feel like you still got some more work to do?
I feel like I always got more work to do. Like, that's just how I am. But I definitely, it's a lot of Detroit artists that I have collabed with, that I've talked with, that do make me feel like family though. So like, it make me feel included and important. So I feel like I am, but at the same time, like, I feel like I got a lot of work to do, and it's still got to put my foot on the gas.
Yeah.
The reason I say that is because what was it, 2023, I was nominated in the Detroit Choice Awards. So and I was top 3 in the voting. So that made me like feel good because I'm like, dang, like it was a lot of people
Yeah.
in that category, and for me to finish top 3, it was definitely a special moment for me, and it just makes you realize, like, even when you think people not listening, sometimes they are. They really are, and but just because like 5,000 people not in your comments or anything like that, it don't mean they ain't listening.
Yep.
So
I'm glad you got that type of mindset too, bro. Because these numbers will really make a lot of artists give up.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
definitely.
So for you to still push it out, no matter how many comments, no matter how many likes, listeners, you just still keep going because
Right.
it's gonna come.
Yeah,
It's gonna come.
eventually.
And then the other part of it is like, even now, like you pushing out a lot more content now, showing who you are. Like with the
Right.
music as well too. Like the music cool, but you also got to showcase who you are. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Right.
Is that for you personally? Is that something that's a little more challenging for you than the music? Like being able to speak about yourself or showcase your personality, or are you kind of already naturally like that type of person? Like I'm a people person, or
I feel like that. I do feel like I struggle at that at times because I am a private person. Like I'm a private individual in general. But my momager always like lets me know, like, hey, you got to get them your personality, like, So I try to be like, active and try to be like as personable as I can get. Um, because really I do it through the songs. Like I usually, talk about a lot of my situations through my music, but I do realize, like, I'm like, man, I gotta get online. I gotta like show them my personality for real. And at times it is hard because, like I said, I am a very private person and a private individual. So, and if you want that steak, you gotta go get it. So,
go get it, man. It's
yeah,
right there. It's waiting on you. You
yeah,
feel what I'm saying? It's right there. People want to know more about you. They want to hear more. You get what I'm saying? Keep
yeah.
staying in that bag, bro. I know you got the merch too. Go ahead and shout out the merch too, bro.
Oh
Let
yeah,
people know.
this the big dog drip. We got many colors. We got black, white, red. We gonna have some pink dropping soon. This is basically like a mini label for me. Big Dog Drip Entertainment. That's what the clothing is called too. So y'all 15 for the t-shirts and 25 for the hoodies. Just hit me up. Hit up Big Dog Drip Entertainment on Instagram, and we got you.
Dope, bro. You know what I'm saying? I do want you to touch on this, man, before you go, man. We always want artists to give out advice to other artists. So whatever on your heart to give, bro, go ahead and give out some advice out to the other artists out there watching.
Um, what I want to give out. The advice I want to give is don't give up. Um, like I said, I don't want to sound cliche, y'all, but don't give up, man, because I know it's hard. It's hard as hell, bro. Like you might wake up one day and you just want to stop because you like it's just feel like it's not going nowhere. But you gotta keep pushing and you gotta continue to showcase who you are because eventually people gonna listen to you and they're gonna hear you and they're gonna understand, what you're bringing to them. So I would definitely say, like, just keep getting up, grinding every single day, grind every single day, and don't let nobody tell you what you can't create and what you're not. Don't let nobody ever try to bring you down in that type of fashion because them the people that don't understand. They don't understand what your goal is and what you're trying to push for. So I would definitely give that advice and just, keep your head up at all times.
That's 100, bro. Only one advice. Big dog drip. You get what I'm saying?
Drip, man.
Feel me?
You already know.
Let the people know where they can follow you at so they can stay connected with you too, man.
You can follow me at Only1Jackson on all platforms, on Instagram, on TikTok. I've been, doing my thing on there. So you can follow me on all those platforms, X, wherever. at Only1Jackson. And yeah, shout out SBoy Entertainment.
Let's do it, man.